Imagine waking up one morning and realizing that the simple act of walking something you've done your entire life now feels like a negotiation with your own body. Your knees feel stiff. Your hips feel heavy. Your legs don't quite trust you the way they used to. And somewhere deep inside, a quiet fear whispers, is this just what getting older feels like? I want you to stay with me for a moment because what I'm about to share may gently challenge everything you've been told about exercise after 60. As a surgeon, I've sat across from thousands of older adults. Strong men who once worked on their feet all day. Women who raised families, ran homes, and never stopped moving. And again I hear the same story. Doctor, I know I should walk more, but it hurts. Or I try walking. But afterward my back aches, my knees swell, and I feel more tired than energized. Some feel guilty, like they're failing their health. Others feel scared, wondering if this is the beginning of a long decline. Here's the truth I wish more people talked about. Walking is wonderful. It really is. But after 60, walking is not always the safest, smartest, or most effective way to keep your legs strong, your circulation healthy, and your independence intact. In fact, for many seniors, there is one simple chair exercise, yes, done sitting down, that can be better than walking in ways that truly matter as we age. Better for joint protection, better for circulation, better for balance, and better for confidence. I know that might sound hard to believe. You've probably heard your whole life that walking is the gold standard of exercise. And for decades, that advice made sense. But bodies change. Joints wear. Balance shifts. Muscles weaken in specific ways that walking alone doesn't always address anymore. I remember a patient named Robert, 68 years old, who came to see me after a fall. He was doing everything right, or so he thought. Walking every day, pushing through pain because he believed that's what strong people do. But his thighs were weak, his hips weren't supporting him properly, and his circulation in his lower legs was poor. Walking wasn't fixing the problem. It was quietly making it worse. What changed his life wasn't a treadmill or a long walk around the block. It was learning how to activate the right muscles safely from a chair. And that's what I want to give you today. Not hype, not unrealistic promises. Just a clear, calm explanation of why this one chair exercise can help your legs feel stronger, steadier, and more alive than walking ever has, especially after 60. If you stay with me until the end of this video, you'll understand why leg strength, not step count, is the real key to staying mobile. You'll learn how circulation actually improves in aging legs. You'll see why pain is not something you should push through anymore. And most importantly, you'll discover how a simple movement done in a chair can help you stand up easier, walk with more confidence, and reduce your risk of falls. And no, this isn't about becoming an athlete or pushing your limits. It's about giving your body the kind of support it needs now at this stage of life with respect instead of force. Let me ask you something personal. Have you ever noticed that getting up from a chair feels harder than it used to? Or that climbing stairs makes your legs feel shaky? That's not just old age. That's your body asking for a different kind of movement. Walking mainly uses momentum. Chair-based strength movements wake up deep muscles that protect your knees, hips, and spine. And once those muscles are awake again, everything else becomes easier standing, walking, even sleeping more comfortably. There's another reason this matters so much. Many falls don't happen while walking long distances. They happen while standing up, turning, or losing balance for just a second. And those moments depend on strength and control, not endurance. In a moment, I'll explain why surgeons and physical therapists quietly rely on this chair exercise for recovery and long-term mobility, even though it rarely gets talked about on TV or social media. And I'll explain why it is especially powerful for people who think they're too weak or too old to exercise. But before we go there, I want you to hear this clearly. If you felt frustrated, discouraged, or even ashamed because walking hurts or feels impossible, none of that is your fault. Your body isn't broken. It just needs a smarter approach. This video isn't about doing more. It's about doing what works now. So take a breath. Sit comfortably. And allow yourself to be open to a new idea, one that has helped countless seniors reclaim strength without pain, without fear, and without leaving their chair. When we talk about movement after 60, we have to start by understanding what actually changes inside the body, because this is where so much confusion comes from. Most people think the main problem's aging bones or worn-out joints. That's part of it, yes, but it's not the whole story. The bigger issue, and the one that walking often fails to address, is how your muscles and nerves communicate with each other as you get older. As a surgeon, I see this every day. With age, certain muscles, especially the deep muscles in your thighs, hips, and lower legs start to go quiet. They don't fire as quickly or as strongly as they used to. When that happens, the body looks for shortcuts. It leans on joints instead of muscles. It uses momentum instead of control. And that's exactly what happens when many seniors walk for exercise. Walking feels natural, but it often allows weaker muscles to stay weak. Your stronger muscles and gravity do most of the work, while the ones you truly need for balance and stability remain underused. Over time, this can lead to knee pain, hip strain, lower back discomfort, and that unsettling feeling that your legs might not fully support you. There's also the circulation piece, which is often misunderstood. We're told that walking improves blood flow, and that's true to a point. But circulation in the legs depends heavily on muscle contractions squeezing blood back toward the heart. When muscles are weak or not fully engaged, blood can pool in the lower legs and feet. That's why so many seniors notice swelling, cold feet, or heaviness in the legs, even if they walk regularly. Now here's where the chair exercise comes in and why it can be so powerful. When you sit and perform a controlled, deliberate movement, you remove the stress of impact and balance. That allows the brain to reconnect with the muscles that have been asleep for years. You're not rushing. You're not compensating. You're teaching the body to use the right muscles again. I often explain it like this to my patients. Imagine trying to fix a flickering light by shaking the whole house. That's what painful walking can be like. The chair exercise is more like carefully rewiring the switch. Slower, more precise, and far more effective. Let me share a real-life example. A woman named Linda, 72 years old, came to me convinced that walking was her only option. She pushed herself every morning, even though her knees ached for hours afterward. When she stopped walking and switched to a simple seated leg strength movement, something surprising happened. Within weeks, her knee pain decreased, her legs felt warmer, and when she eventually returned to short walks, they felt easier, not harder. This is where we need to bust a very common myth. Pain does not mean progress. Especially after 60. Pain is information. It's your body saying, this approach is no longer serving me. Walking through pain doesn't make you stronger. It teaches your nervous system to move defensively, which increases stiffness and instability. Another myth is that sitting exercises are only for people who are frail or recovering from surgery. That couldn't be further from the truth. In hospitals and rehabilitation centers, we often start with chair-based movements because they rebuild strength safely and efficiently. They allow patients to regain control before returning to full weight-bearing activities. There's also the balance factor. Walking challenges balance, but it doesn't train balance in isolation. The chair exercise allows you to strengthen the muscles that keep you upright without the fear of falling. And fear, by the way, is a huge hidden factor. When people are afraid of falling, they move less. When they move less, muscles weaken faster. It becomes a vicious cycle. Here's something I want you to really take in. Many people think their legs are weak because they're getting older. In reality, their legs are weak because they haven't been asked to work in the right way. The good news is, muscles respond to proper stimulation at any age. I've seen it in people in their 80s and even 90s. You might be wondering right now, what exactly is this chair exercise? And I promise we'll get there. But understanding why it works is just as important as knowing how to do it. When you understand the logic, you stop doubting yourself. You stop wondering if you're wasting your time. And you commit to something that actually helps. In the next part, I'm going to walk you through how to use this kind of movement in daily life. We'll talk about simple habits, supportive nutrition, and the small mistakes that can quietly undo your progress if you're not careful. And I'll explain how to do this in a way that feels safe, doable, and even comforting. Now let's bring this down to real life, because understanding the idea is only helpful if you know how to apply it in a way that fits your day, your body, and your energy level. One of the biggest mistakes I see seniors make is trying to overhaul everything at once. New exercises, new diets, new routines. That approach rarely lasts. The body responds best to small, consistent signals that say, you're safe, you're supported, you can get stronger. The chair exercise I'm talking about is simple in appearance, but powerful in effect. You sit tall in a sturdy chair, feet flat on the floor, and you slowly lift one leg at a time, straightening it out in front of you. Not fast, not with force. Just a smooth lift, a gentle pause, and a controlled return. What matters here is not how high the leg goes, but how deliberately the muscles engage. You should feel the front of the thigh working, the muscles around the knee waking up, and even a subtle warmth in the lower leg as circulation improves. This movement activates the quadriceps, which are essential for standing up, climbing stairs, and protecting the knees. Walking often skips this full activation, especially when people shuffle or shorten their stride due to pain or fear. From the chair, you're giving those muscles a clear, focused job to do. Start with just a few repetitions on each leg. That might be 5. It might be 8. The number doesn't matter nearly as much as the quality. If you feel tired, that's okay. If you feel a mild burn, that's normal. Sharp pain is not. The goal is to finish feeling more stable, not drained. Now let's talk about how to support this movement with daily habits, because exercise doesn't exist in isolation. Hydration is a big one. Muscles are mostly water, and even mild dehydration can increase stiffness and cramping. Many seniors unintentionally drink less water because they don't feel as thirsty. A simple habit like sipping water regularly throughout the day can make this exercise feel noticeably easier. Nutrition plays a role too, but it doesn't have to be complicated. Protein supports muscle repair, and foods rich in magnesium and potassium help muscles contract and relax properly. You don't need supplements unless your doctor recommends them. Simple foods like eggs, yogurt, beans, leafy greens, and bananas can make a difference over time. Another important piece is timing. Doing this chair exercise earlier in the day often works best, when your nervous system is more alert and your joints aren't as stiff from hours of sitting. But if mornings are hard, evenings are fine too. Consistency matters more than the clock. Let's address some common mistakes because avoiding these can save you weeks of frustration. One mistake is holding your breath while lifting the leg. Breathing calmly helps muscles work more efficiently and reduces tension. Another mistake is gripping the chair or leaning back excessively. Try to sit tall and relaxed. Let the legs do the work. Some people rush the movement because they think faster means better. In reality, slower is safer and more effective. That slow pace is what retrains the brain and strengthens the connection between nerves and muscles. Remember, this is about control, not cardio. You might be wondering if you should stop walking altogether. For most people, the answer is no. Walking can still be part of your life, but think of this chair exercise as the foundation. When your legs are stronger and more stable, walking becomes easier and more enjoyable. Many people find that after a few weeks of chair-based strengthening, they naturally want to move more because it feels better, not because they're forcing themselves. There's also an emotional side to this that I don't want to overlook. Sitting down to exercise can feel humbling at first, especially if you've always been active. But reframing it is powerful. This isn't a step backward. It's a smart adjustment. It's you listening to your body instead of fighting it. In the final part, I want to bring this all together. I'll talk about what real progress looks like after 60, how to stay motivated without pressure, and why hope is not only realistic, it's medically justified. What you're doing now matters more than what you did 10 years ago. I want you to picture yourself a few weeks from now. Not running a marathon, not climbing mountains. Just standing up from your chair with a little more ease. Walking across the room without thinking about every step. Feeling steadier, calmer, more confident in your own body. That kind of progress may seem small on the surface, but in my experience as a surgeon, it's life-changing. One of the most important things I've learned over the years is this. Aging does not mean losing control. It means changing the way we care for ourselves. When people accept that shift, something beautiful happens. They stop chasing what they used to be able to do, and they start building strength for who they are now. This one chair exercise represents that shift. It's not flashy, it doesn't promise miracles overnight. But it respects your joints, your balance, and your nervous system. It meets your body where it is, and gently invites it forward. And that's why, for so many people over 60, it ends up being more powerful than walking ever was. Progress after 60 doesn't always show up as speed or distance. It shows up as confidence, as less fear of falling, as waking up with less stiffness, as trusting your legs again. Those are the victories that truly matter because they protect your independence. If you ever feel discouraged, remember this. Muscles can grow stronger at any age. Nerves can relearn. Circulation can improve. I've seen it happen in people who thought it was too late. It's not about how old you are. It is about whether your body is being asked to move in a way it understands and can respond to. Be patient with yourself. Some days will feel better than others. That's normal. What matters is showing up gently and consistently. Even a few minutes in a chair sends a powerful message to your body. I'm still here. I'm still capable. If this message resonated with you, take a moment to like this video so more people can find it. Subscribe to the channel if you want calm, trustworthy guidance for aging well. And if you feel comfortable, leave a comment and tell me where you're starting from. Your story matters, and you're not alone in this journey. Thank you for spending this time with me. Take care of your body. It's been with you your whole life, and it's still ready to support you now.